Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining once again. This is the first time we are using YouTube, so let me know if there are any technical problems. Above all, let me know if you can hear me speaking, if the audio is good and everything. Since the last time we had a little bit of a complex topic, this time I wanted to go softer. So, whenever I say I'm Italian, people start doing pizza, pasta, mafia, but they also do something else. They start mocking me doing this, and they always ask me, what does this mean? What is this? So I thought, why don't we make a podcast episode about these Italian hand gestures? And here we are. Hand gestures are important all over the world, not only in Italy. They are not language, but they are a part of language of the utmost importance. They can help to convey the message of the words, or sometimes they can even convey a message all on their own. And there are actually many reasons why they are so important in Italy specifically. First of all, it seems that they were uh, they were brought in Italy by Greeks when Greeks colonized the south of Italy. They already had some of our hand gestures, and slowly also the population of South Italy started to use them. And this can also explain why the hand gesture are used, in the whole Italy, but especially in the south, and many of them come specifically from Naples. But this was only the beginning. Hand gestures got more and more important throughout our history because Italy always had a lot of different dominations. We had Spanish domination, French domination, Austrian domination in different areas of the peninsula through different periods of time. So, since we had all these different language influences, people in the peninsula had a hard time speaking to one another. And if you can't use words, what do? You use your hands. You just try to speak by gestures. And this was true also after the unification of Italy, because in the beginning we didn't have a single language. We had all these different dialects, different from one another, very hard to understand. And so once again, people had to speak through hands, even though we were all Italians. It was the only way to understand to understand each other. And another reason might be that some of the cities during the modern era were so crowded, so bustling, that if you had to draw attention for some reasons in the streets, it was impossible to be heard. It was impossible to draw attention only through your voice. So once again, you had to use your hands, your body, to draw attention of someone. And for all these reasons, and probably many others, hand gestures are so important in Italy. And I would like to tell you about the origins of a couple of them. First of all, of course, we have to speak about the most famous one, this one. It is very hard for me to explain the meaning of this one because it's so obvious to me. And when something is obvious, it's harder to explain. Let's say that in general, it is a question. And in most cases, it means what? What do you mean? Explain yourself better. But it can also mean many other questions. It just depends on the context. For example, if someone tells me, I bought a new phone, I do this. In this case, the stress is on the phone you bought. So, what phone did you bought? Which phone? Which is your new phone? Tell me the model. But if someone tells me, uh, I bought a new phone in the new shop, which new shop? Which new shop are you talking about? Where did you buy? Where did you buy this new phone? In this case, from the previous sentence, the stress is on the place where. Or another one. If someone tells me I need to buy a new phone, why? Why do you need to buy a new phone? In this case, the stress was on the need. Why do you need it? And this can go for every type of question. So just reminded, this means a sort of question, and you can understand what question based on the context. Then there is this one I really like, and it's very important to make you understand why gestures matter so much. It's like this. This gesture means like, I don't care, what you're saying is stupid, I'm challenging you, I don't care about what you're saying. And you know, gestures always have a sort of relationship with what they mean. Like this one is just going from the inside to the outside. You are pulling away your, pushing away your opponent, the person you are talking to, like away. I don't care about you. And at the same time, also this one has some relationship with what it means. In this case, the fingers represent ideas, thoughts. So when you do this, you are basically saying, collect your ideas, just be clear, make me understand what you mean and tell me. So what do you mean, collect your ideas? So yeah, this one, you are saying something stupid, I don't care. And this is very important because it's related to the history of Ludwig Wittgenstein. He's a very important Austrian philosopher, lived during the 20th century, and he's maybe the most important philosopher of language ever existed, or at least one of the most important ones. During the first half of his life, this Wittgenstein was trying to create a perfect universal language, a perfect logical language that could eliminate ambiguity from any sort of language, because he thought that the problems of philosophy were all in the language. If he was able to create a perfect language, perfectly logical, avoiding any form of ambiguities, then philosophy discussion could become way more clear and avoid any loss of time. So while he was theorizing this idea, this language, one day he was on a train to Cambridge with his Italian friend, Piero Strappa, economist and philosopher Italian. And while Wittgenstein was telling him about his theory, Strappa didn't reply anything. He just did this. I don't care about what you are saying. What you are saying is stupid. I don't agree. And only through this gesture, Wittgenstein was just astonished. He just couldn't believe what he was looking at. Only through that gesture, he understood that his theory was not so good. Because if you can convey so much meaning only through this, how can you think to create a perfect language, avoiding all ambiguities, perfectly logical, perfectly formal? And even if you can, you are losing the point, because human language, also through this stuff, is so rich that you will never be able to reduce it to a logical form, to deploy it of ambiguities. It's just too rich, and you lose the point if you try to do that. And I really like this gesture for this reason. And I mean, look at them. Look at the Wittgenstein. Ocean philosopher, so serious, clearly depressed, he hates life. Against Piero Sraffa, Chad, Italian economist, smiling at 80 years old. I mean, of course Sraffa wins. I mean, how could he lose against Wittgenstein? It's kind of obvious. Then there is this one I really love. I call it the Yamaya gesture. Basically, it's like this. It's when you have a new idea, when you wanna do something new, you say something like, "Oh, do you wanna have a pizza?" "Yeah, come on, let's have a pizza, let's do it." And basically, it also has some sort of connection with what it means. Because you see, it's like collecting your ideas and then bringing them up. Like, yes, let's bring this up, let's do it. And this, I called it the Yamaya gesture because it's an expression from Naples, in Naples dialect. In Naples dialect, Yamaya means like, let's go, let's do it, let's go. And of course this gesture is from Naples, like a lot of others. And it really gives you the idea. You can also tilt your head to give even more the idea of what you're gonna do. I really love this one. And it doesn't have a real name, but people from Naples seem to call it the hanging hand, because at some point it's like it's hanging. Wow, we are already running out of time. I will tell you about this one. This is Totò, very famous Italian actor, comedian. Martina, thank you very much for the question. I will answer at the end. And if you look at his hand, it's like this. This gesture is called the maum. Unluckily, this is related to bad things, also to mafia. Because if you remember, I said that this one is like the fingers are the ideas. Collect your ideas and give them to me, make me understand. Well, in this case, it's the opposite. The ideas, the words, the thoughts are hidden, are faced downwards. So in this case, it means you are trying to hide something. You don't want other people to understand. And it is also related to mafia, because you say that when someone wants to do something hidden against the law, you do it like without anyone knowing, like hidden, nobody's gonna know, just between us. And also the word aum, it's also from Naples. It just doesn't mean anything. It's just a sound you make to give this idea of something hidden. Aum, it's like a very closed sound. It just doesn't allow you to understand what is going on. I actually had a lot more of gestures, but I would also like to discuss with you. So in case you can ask me about some more. Martina asked about which Italian gesture is understood wrongly by strangers. Actually, a lot of them. Even, for example, even this one I told you about. In some cultures, it's way more offensive. For us, it's just, I don't care, this is boring. But in some cultures, it's offensive. It's more similar to the middle finger, let's just say that. While, honestly, I haven't noticed Slovak gestures I didn't know. Maybe if you have some surprising ones, you can show me. I will be very curious to see them and to learn them if I already didn't know. But it's gonna be hard because Italians use something like 250 hand gestures, which is a lot. So if you can find some new ones and teach me, it will be very surprising. So guys, I would like to spend the last 5 minutes with you on Zoom, or if you wanna leave a comment here, we can talk. And thank you very much for joining me. I hope we can continue this conversation. Thank you very much again. See you during the next episode.